All right, Nick. If you do this long enough, maybe, maybe something crazy might happen. I'm going to tell you right now, I got this thing on game day, so I know I'm ahead of you. I will make a run for it. My phone is currently at 1%, and I'll make a run for it when it gets tight, and we will put it back on the synchronization of the game. But in times like this, I think it's probably just best if we let the phone charge during the show and we make sure we have a phone that works when the show's over. So
you may not believe this. I only have one J bar today.
Right. Yeah. You know, these are the moments where I always say that it's going to be the shortest show of the entire season, and then we'll go for an hour. I don't suspect that to be the case, but you never know. Maybe this ninth inning will make it to where it will go an hour, and I hope it does. That's kind of what we need to happen.
At least make their closer work.
That's right.
Who the Cubs play this weekend?
Who do the Cubs play? Let's find out. Cardinals? Yep.
They play the Cardinals and St. Louis.
Then they got the Blue Jays from Toronto. What about them, by the way? David Bell. Turn it around. David Bell. Good for him, man. Good for him.
I've never wanted someone to win some stupid award I've never heard of before. Co-executive of the year or something.
Right.
David
Yeah.
Bell.
You thought that he's been wronged, right? It's like, yeah. You know. I'll tell you what would really get the fans going is if somehow things went, a different direction in the front office and they decided to hire David Bell as the guy to take over. That would be some. That probably wouldn't happen because of just the relationships. I'm assuming that have been severed. My guess is that when you get fired. Speaking of which, was it you who told me the story about David Bell, or that was someone else that told us the story about David Bell? Not to out our sources, but that is but that's a pretty interesting story. Maybe the loyal people.
Are we telling that on the air? Or?
I'm asking for your permission to tell it. You did not tell me that, right? That was someone else that told me.
No, it didn't. It did not come from my sources.
It did not come from your sources. It did come from mine. Yeah, it did come from my source. And I like my source, by the way. I think my source for sure probably knows. But rumor has it that David Bell was set to get fired, I believe. Was it Cleveland?
Astros.
It was the Astros. It was in Houston. And he was set to get fired in Houston. And then he went out and they swept him. So they decided to hold off. But he already knew. Which is just so crazy to think that somebody fired you, but then they were like, "Wait a minute, we can't." If
you go back and you look at the press conferences in September, and you look at his face, he looks like a man that knew he was fired.
It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. I just can't believe that you fired the guy, told him he was fired, said it was going to be at the end of one series, and then he goes out and he sweeps that series, and they're like, "Well, we're going to let you go." I think it was to Cleveland, right? Or it was somewhere else. It doesn't matter. But
he got fired before Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah, he got fired right before Cleveland. That was the start of
Freddie
Benavidez.
Maybe he had that good of communication with the front office where they knew him and they said he would just want to know.
Right.
I don't. Given the way he looked, it didn't seem like that was the right decision.
No, they should have waited.
This guy looked like George Bailey when he's trying to figure out that. That's what he looked like for the whole month of September.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, no one shuts out the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, baby, we scraped one across. That we did.
Ruined.
2 outs and a guy on second base. I mean, it might not mean a lot to some, but for those that care about the run differential, it is cutting into that deficit just slightly. They all count the same in the run differential department, if you think about it. All right, I'm trying to keep up with what we would have the game day along with the folks on the live stream. By the way, I like that we told that story with just really the true hardcore folks that are in here right now. These are the diehards. These are the people that are obviously our OGs, the number ones. They get to hear the fact that is a little inside baseball there for you. Not that I think it's the most sexiest story in the world, but it is kind of interesting to know that David Bell got fired before he actually got fired. I mean, what an insane thing that has to be. Because he can't quit. I mean, he's not going to be allowed just to be like, I'm done here. Like, you guys fired me. You can't fire me. I quit. Because obviously there's ramifications, I'm sure, financially that come with just quitting.
Pull a Jim Riggleman. Jim Riggleman did that with the Nationals.
Yeah.
Did you remember the Jim Riggleman era? Were you paying attention at all to the Reds?
Not then? Really. No. I mean, I knew who Jim Riggleman was, yes, but I feel like he was the AAA guy, right? He was the AAA guy that they just were like, "Hey, you're going to be the big league manager now."
Yeah. He was the interim manager after Price got fired. I kind of liked him.
Yeah,
but he was like the interim manager, but like for almost a full year because Price got fired. I think like.
Right.
Late April, early May. So like he was the actual manager for a while.
All right. Well, I don't know where you're at.
Is that the old ball game? Oh, that was a bullshit call.
And a bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. And the save. He's done it. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh my God. You believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in force rate. It was a sweep. In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Perkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded. The outfield deep and around toward right to the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on. Long drive. Right field. And this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Line to the right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs.
right, it is a businessman special, if you want to call it that, of Chatterbox Reds here in the middle of a day, 4:42 Eastern, Nick. We had watched a baseball game. You saying I'm too loud?
No, the singular.
Sorry,
Trying to give you the gentle hint.
That's fair. Let's do that again. All right, it is a businessman special, if you'd like to call it that, Nick. 4:43 Eastern here in the local time zone. Unfortunately, we watched our favorite baseball team, the Cincinnati Reds, fall 6-1 to the Chicago Cubs, and really an uneventful game. If it's a game that you did not watch, you're maybe blessed to have not watched it. Just even from the standpoint, Nick, of saying, "Wow, that was cool. I've never really seen that before." Really didn't get a whole lot of that. There were a couple nice plays. Shout out to Friedl. Shout out to I guess we'll give some love here to Marte down the line that we gave some love to Cowgill. So that's kind of was maybe the headlines, if you will. You're going to do the box score recap. But had 4 hits, Nick. 4 hits, and 2 of them came in the 9th inning when we were down 6-0. So if you can paint a picture of how that feels, well, you probably can feel the pain that we're currently in right now. But you know what? They won the series, Nick. That's the positive side of it. And we'll talk about this game and obviously the outlook of the Cincinnati Reds here moving forward after the box score recap presented by yourself.
All right, Reds taking on the Chicago Cubs. Reds trying to get out of Wrigley Field with a sweep. Andrew Abbott against Cade Horton. Abbott gave up a pair of homers to the Cubs and ended up allowing 4 runs over 6 2/3 innings. Reds offense was dominated by the Cubs rookie Cade Horton. He threw 5 2/3 shutout innings to extend his scoreless inning streak to 23 2/3 innings. Reds got nothing going off the Cubs bullpen either. Andrew Kittredge, who was booed off the field on Tuesday, threw an immaculate inning against the Cincinnati Reds on Wednesday. The highlight of the day was Yasver Zulueta hitting 100 miles per hour on the gun and Luis May hitting 101. Reds had 2 hits entering the 9th, but were able to scratch across a run to lose 6-1. Reds now 60-55 on the season, but the Reds catch a break. They'll remain 3 games out of a playoff spot thanks to the New York Mets losing again already on Wednesday.
All right, we got the deep drive of the day, and unfortunately on a day like today, it's going to have to be a double. Damn near a home run, though. If you watch the game, it was close to hitting that basket out there at Wrigley, but it was his 10th double of the year. It was a sharp fly ball to center field. It was deflected off of the head, basically, or maybe the neck of Ian Happ, for those that are wondering why it went to center field's Pete Crow Armstrong. 104.4 off the bat, 364 feet, 23 degrees launched, and the Reds would still remain behind the Chicago Cubs 1-0 at the time. Win probability would be 35%, and as we all know, it would wind up being 0%. DSC, they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks to John and his team. Also, thanks to all of you loyal folks that are joining us, what is basically during the rush hour time frame within our lovely Cincinnati area. I don't know what to make of this, because I feel like more times than not, you can get on here, you can get upset. You won the series, man. I mean, that is probably the thing to take away, is that you found a way to win a couple games, specifically one game, the opening night game, Nick, that you probably shouldn't have won. And so maybe you can kind of swap those 2 days, and today, I guess last night was the game that was the ultimate deciding factor. But I keep saying it, and I'll say it again, like, even though they certainly didn't feel like they deserved to win, they did have what felt like a favorable matchup from a starting pitching perspective. There's not too many times on getaway day when you have your ace, and that's who he is right now, and Andrew Abbott, and you don't find a way to win. Now, you score 1 run, and again, that was kind of a scratched across run in the 9th inning when maybe it felt out of hand. It is what it is. I just don't want to kind of keep going down the same path that I go down, which is every time I start to believe that they have the ability to maybe get somewhere and gain some ground and maybe find that way into the last wild card spot, this offense showcases why I become pessimistic again. Again, they won the series, but this is starting to trend in the direction of this is who they are to me. Doesn't mean that I don't think that they're incapable of putting together some games where they can score 5-6 runs, because they've showcased that. But more times than not, this baseball team has to play almost perfect from the mound perspective and defensively to win. And today kind of showcased that. Andrew Abbott, I don't know how you feel. I thought he threw the ball relatively well. I mean, I know he gave up some home runs, but I mean, at the end of the day, he left the game giving up 3 runs. You hand it over to a bullpen that we already know is pretty bare, and you find yourself losing 6-1. Nick, your overall thoughts here before we jump into maybe some of the specifics offensively. I don't know what you can muster up more than what I said, but I hope you have some more insight than that.
Yeah, just an ugly day from the offense. Only 4 hard hit balls against the first 3 pitchers that they saw. That's the first 7 innings of the game, so that's not very good. You just wish, when you're facing a right-handed pitcher that doesn't strike out a ton of guys, you just wish you had maybe a left-handed batter that you could kind of throw in the lineup that has some power, that can hit the ball hard. Doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe it could be a little bit of a flawed player, but just, someone that you could throw in there that kind of fits that profile. Maybe one of these days the Reds will find one of those players, and surely once they do, they'll keep that player up in the big leagues. I don't know. It's an ugly loss. It is what it is. The Reds either have to win almost every series, or they have to pull off some of these sweeps. It has to be one or the other. So it's fine if you lose this game, but now you kind of have to go at least win 3 out of 4 against the Pirates. You can't settle for a split. So it's kind of if this week you sweep the Cubs and you split a 4-game series with the Pirates, that's a good week. But you can't split a series with the Pirates and then win 2 or 3 against the Cubs just because of where the Reds are. So yeah, I don't know.
It's a fair point. I think if you win series, Nick, you give yourself a chance to make it all up when they play the Mets and or the Padres here in a few weeks. That's what they make no mistake. The Padres and Mets series that's coming up, which is, I don't know, half off my head, a couple weeks, I guess. That is going to be the defining moment of whether or not this team can get over the hump. Because I think it's been showcased. I hope I'm wrong. I hope, if anything else, this is jinxing it into existence. But I'm going to say it out loud because I've thought it for a while. The reason I keep telling people that they have to win at least 5 games in a row for them to get to the postseason isn't because it's some magic number that if they hit that, then they automatically get in. It's just the concept that they're capable of doing it. I want to see them be able to win the getaway day game and then follow that up and win the next 2 games the following series. They've just not done that. Now, to be fair to them, Nick, they've also not had 5-game losing streaks either. So we've just sat into this middle ground, which is, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 4 steps back, and you just feels like we can't get anywhere. And, I'm not really, the crazy thing is as upset as I can get sometimes on this show about the way this team plays, I'm not even all that upset about today's game. It just, this felt like part of the Major League Baseball season, and unfortunately the offense didn't show up. I think the bigger concern that we've been talking all along is that this is who they are. And I've tried to convince myself maybe that's not. Maybe Spencer Steer will start to play incredibly well. Maybe, again, like I've said, Tyler Stephenson just gets on a tear. Or Elly De La Cruz goes absolutely best player in the entire league for 3 weeks at a time. It feels like that's what we need, and we've just not gotten that. To your point, we did get it out of some guys that we'd never expected it for just a week. But it's going to take more than just a week to get back in this thing. And luckily, the Mets are falling apart. I mean, if we want to get excited about anything, it's the Mets have just allowed us to get into a position where there's 2 teams now on the radar, Nick.
Kind of 3. I mean, the Phillies are still a little bit further back, but the Reds are, I think, 5 games behind the Phillies at the moment. It's somewhere around there. So they're 1 game behind the Cubs. So they are 5.5 behind. They're 5.5 behind the Phillies. So, one of those teams has to win the NL East. One of them's the wild card. So, yeah, I mean, that's September, man. When September rolls around, I mean, first off, you're starting off with the Blue Jays at home, which is they're playing really well, and then it's the Mets and Padres back to back. So, I mean, as long as the Reds are really, I guess, even within like 4 games, I mean, you're going to go into that week feeling like you have a chance to at least make this end of September really interesting. So, it's kind of in some ways survive until there, but you don't want to have to try to make it all up there because that's very unlikely result. But you'll have a chance, most likely. So that's good. Austin Hayes, back-to-back days, he's hit a ball really hard. That's good to see. I mean, 2 balls that 2 very long doubles, so that's a positive. TJ Friedl continues to get on base 2 more times today. His top 10 in the National League in on-base percentage. So those are 2 pieces. Obviously, Elly is Elly, but you need more than that. I mean, that's the issue. McLean's played pretty well, but McLean hasn't been like great either. So you've got to find some additional support for this lineup.
Yeah, we're using the baseline for Matt McLean right now to say he's playing better based off of how poorly he was playing at the beginning of the year. If we try to use the baseline of what he was in 2023 for this team when we were cooking with gas and we felt really good about how there was a good chance this team was going to do something special, he's not been that player. So, and maybe it's unrealistic to expect him to go back to be that player. But let's not confuse ourselves in thinking that everything's perfect on the right side of the infield. It is better than it has been, but as I've said before, it's going to have to continue to get better and better and better, and Tyler Stephenson's a big part of that as well. And collectively as a group, that's what this is ultimately going to come down to, isn't it? Clearly the Reds don't have the financial resources to probably go out and get, as I think Tito said, Barry Bonds. We are who we are. We got who we got. I think that's just a tongue-in-cheek way of saying, I know fans are wanting to have maybe a big bat in this lineup that could come and maybe save the day, but it just wasn't reasonable and it wasn't going to happen. So, we have who we have, and we'll see if it's good enough. But offensively at times, it seems stagnant, and I just think that's part of the drill in 2025. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, we looked pretty pitiful against the Rockies for quite some time. And we got a big hit in that game that allowed them to kind of save face, and then they moved forward and they took care of the Rays, and you're back on track, believing this team can do it again. And they won the series. Let's be clear, they won the series. Now they have a huge opportunity in front of them. All right, as always, 988. You can text and/or call day or night. It's okay to not be okay. You can also visit mantherapy.org. Visit mantherapy.org. To get help with a variety of different things that you may find yourself dealing with. But as always, please check and call on your friends. Tell them you love them because you never know what people are going through. And I just want to tell everybody we very much appreciate them for watching this show. Nick, Super Chat's on the way. Thank you for the support, folks. Jacob Doyle says, not going to win every game. Time to beat the Pirates. And that is exactly right. That's all you can do at this point. And I'm sure that's what the fellas in red are focused on moving out of Chicago. OJ's 94 Bronco says, no power and timely hitting and pitching. No power and timely hitting. Pitching carrying us. Pitching is 100% carrying this baseball team. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And the reason this team hasn't lost 5 in a row is quite literally because of the pitching. And the reason this team hasn't won 5 in a row is quite literally because of the hitting. So, I'm hoping that they can gel perfectly together at one time and we can all sing Kumbaya and make a run in the sun. But it's going to feel like it's going to take a winning streak to get this thing back where we need it to be. Andrew Abbott did start the game, Nick. I felt like he was fine. I know he probably got ahead. He got behind, I think, more guys than he typically does in an outing. But, he pitched around some trouble, and he also got outs, and he gave up some home runs, but they were all the solo variety, and I have a hard time believing if you throw 100 pitches, what did he get in the 7th? I know in Bosch Score Recap you told me this, but he got into the 7th inning, if I remember right. He gave the ball up with just 3 runs on the board. So pretty solid outing if you ask me.
Yeah, and he probably wouldn't have gone as deep if the game would have been closer. If kind of had a little bit better, felt like he had a better chance. I think Tito probably pushed him for that extra inning because of where they were. I think if they would have been out, he wouldn't have gone there, and he just would have given up a couple runs. Or actually, maybe just one run. No, he would have given up 2 runs at that point. But yeah, he was fine. I mean, he was fine. I mean, Luis May and Yasver Zulueta, I mean, they weren't great, but man, they did show, they did show some potential there. Yasver Zulueta, his I guess it's a sinker is his main pitch is what it's referred to as, was up like 5 miles per hour from what we saw last year. Hit 99.6, and then Luis May hit 101. So they're definitely some talented arms. I mean, they're not flawless. Then you saw that today. Zulueta though was close to getting out of that inning, which is that solo home run. So yeah, I mean that's I guess a positive. It'll be interesting. Zulueta ended up throwing 26 pitches, so he just may be he may be going back to Louisville just on a simple count. If he threw 26 pitches, you have 2 other guys in their 40-man roster. Let's get a fresh guy out to Pittsburgh because you're facing Paul Skeens tomorrow, and if you get down early, you're not gonna want to burn through your bullpen. I wouldn't be shocked tomorrow if Ben Scooter is added to the roster. I don't know when he's pitched last, but that would kind of track because you're facing Skeens, and if you get down early, you want a guy that can just kind of get you some length to get through that.
All right. Well, let's hope we don't get down early. I mean, you never know, but we got some more supers here as we jump into it. Anquilo the Great did say, how can we theorize? Now we can theorize why Tito hates Benson and refuses to give him credit. Benson is clearly a leader. Just look at how this team responds to his moments. They have had, oddly enough, a pretty good record when he's been in the lineup, I know, but that ship has sailed. I mean, I'm not, again, just we're wasting our time sitting here trying to figure out exactly what it is that they want and or would like to see out of Benson. I think it's as simple as this. I think that they believe Jake Fraley is a really good hitter. Whether you want to believe that or not, I'm not here to argue that. But I think that they believe Jake Fraley is a really good hitter. It's very debatable. But my point is, I think that's what it's about. And they're definitely not going to move, to be clear, they're definitely not going to move Noelvi Marte out of right field because I think that's just stuck there now.
I think Fraley makes a decent salary, and they're not going to send him to the minors with that. And then he hit well enough to where, I don't. Well, I guess we'll see in a couple months how good of a hitter they think Jake Fraley is. But he's going to be non-tendered. I would bet a lot of money on that. So if he's going to be a guy that's going to be non-tendered, you can't really believe in him that much.
I'm not talking about the front office. To be clear, you're talking about the front office. I'm not talking about the front office. I think that I think Tito believes that. To be clear, so whatever. It really doesn't matter. Can we all agree it doesn't matter? Reds move on. They play. We have some more baseball to get to in just a second. Let's just jump into what is Reds MLB on a day like today. It's pretty much scheduled. So Nick, take it away.
Yeah, everyone plays tonight. Louisville plays a doubleheader. Chase Petty is going to start in Game 1. That's at 5:05 p.m. Chattanooga at Birmingham at 8. Dayton, they are against Lake County at 7. And then Daytona, our team that's in a playoff race, they play at 6:30. They interplay just one game back of a second-half playoff spot. David Lordy pitched really well, 2.77 ERA in 52 innings on the bump for the Tortugas. And then the Reds start a 4-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Brady Singer against Paul Skeens. Your pitching matchups for the series. Thursday, 6:40, Singer, Skeens. Friday, 6:40, Chase Burns against Mitch Keller. Saturday, 6:40, Nick Martinez against TBD. Possibly a bullpen game for the Pirates. And then Sunday, 1:35, Zach Littell against the right-handed pitcher Mike Burrows. So I kind of look at this series as this, Trace. You need to split the first 2 games. You're facing 2 pretty good pitchers. Find a way to win one of those 2, and then hopefully you can find a way to sweep those final 2. I mean, I think that would be kind of the that'd be kind of the game plan or the recipe hope for this weekend. Yeah, the recipe. Yeah.
The recipe for success. Hopefully, Yeah, it would feel like stealing. I think we could all agree it would feel like stealing if you run out Brady Singer against Paul Skeens and you win the baseball game. But it is the Pittsburgh Pirates, so you just never know. And something stupid about this team, it feels like, is they'll probably go out and hang 5 on Paul Skeens in 2 innings, and you'll start to think to yourself, maybe this offense isn't so bad after all. And then they'll get shut out.
Mike Burrows shuts him down on Sunday.
Yeah, you can't make it up. You quite literally can't make it up with this baseball team. But you know what? The good news is that there's more games to be played, and they are meaningful games. And I think that probably maybe it's easy to fall prey to just the prisoner of the moment feeling of what you did that day, right? They won the series in Chicago. Against a really good Cubs team that you can argue that they're not playing well of late, but the point is that they did it. So I don't know. Find a way to go into Pittsburgh and win the series. I don't think it's going to be as easy as maybe some would suggest it to be, but we'll ultimately find out. So anything else that you'd like to get off?
A couple wild things on the Pirates. The Pirates have insane home road splits. They are 32-27 at home this year and 17-39 on the road. So they have played well at PNC Park. They also are playing pretty well of late. They have won 10 of their last 15 games. They did lose their last 2 and have lost their last 2 series, but they were playing really well. Actually swept the Detroit Tigers a couple weeks ago. So they're playing better baseball. But again, there's just still no excuse for not going into. You have to win 3 or 4 this weekend. I mean, I'll say it now. I mean, you don't win 3 out of 4 this weekend. It's not the end of the world. Season's not over, but man, like you're running out of opportunities, and you kind of have to do it this weekend.
I had a sneeze coming on right there, and it just magically went away right when I was getting ready to sneeze, and I was scrambling for the mute button. For those that are wondering what I just pulled off there in front of the video screen, but yeah, 3 to 4 is always difficult to do. I mean. It just is. But at some point, you got to do it. I mean, at some point, you got to do it. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that anything is a necessity right this second because I think the Mets are struggling. Maybe that you could argue the Mets are going to rebound like all probably decent teams will. But if the Mets are going to continue to fall apart and the Reds have an opportunity to sweep them here in what is, I keep saying a couple weeks, Nick, I need to look at the schedule and figure out when is that?
So it's a whole month.
So basically it's like September, 10th, something like that?
It's the second series in September.
Okay. Trying to pull up the schedule as we speak on this little screen over here. It's not the easiest thing to do. All right. I mean,
it's mattered a whole lot.
September 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. If the Reds, my point is, if the Reds play a perfect baseball for those, call it 8 days, well, really 6 days in a row, but there's an off day there and an off day on the back end. But if they played perfect baseball and they swept both of those series, I mean, you likely, probably not. But point is they would be in the race with what would be 3 weeks left. I mean, they'd have to absolutely completely fall apart if that one is. You know what it kind of feels like? The bad analogy of the day coming from me before we sign off on probably the shortest show of the year is it feels like if they can just hang around a little bit, what they've done is they've made a 45-yard field goal here to put them within a touchdown with about 3 minutes left on the clock. Not a lot of margin for error. Everything probably has to go almost perfect. But you're not really out of it. You're still watching the game. You're still going to watch the game. You can't turn it off because it's not over. And you know it's not over, and I know it's not over. Do we like our chances? No, we don't love our chances. But I know this. We got a chance. That's all that matters. And crazier things have happened in sports. All right, folks. People are asking short show. I don't intend it to be that way. I'm not trying to rush to get off of here. I just genuinely don't like sitting here talking about something that I don't either have a lot of passion for or I think is completely irrelevant at this moment in time for the Reds. And the good news is we're here tomorrow. Like we do this every day. So probably a good chance we have some more things to talk about tomorrow, Nick. But otherwise, if you don't have anything, I don't have anything. You can enjoy the rest of your day, and I will too. And hopefully we find a way to watch the Reds win some baseball games tomorrow.
Yeah, last thought, it hasn't really felt like it's mattered a lot this year, but the Mets are at the Brewers this weekend. The Padres host the Red Sox. and the Phillies are at the Rangers. So they're facing tough teams this weekend. It would be the most Milwaukee Brewers thing to play out of their mind all year, and then when the Reds need them to play well, they fall flat on their face, because I feel like that's happened 100 times. So I'm trying to reverse jinx that. Speaking of your football analogy,
Yes.
brand new Chatterbox Bengals video is up on YouTube. They're really trying to work hard to kind of grow that brand back up. Key players to watch in the Bengals preseason game against the Eagles tomorrow. I know I butchered that yesterday. That's up. So be sure to check that out. And then, of course, those guys will be live tomorrow night. Post-game show after the Bengals preseason game. You'll be redirected from Chatterbox Reds directly to that stream. So a whole night of hopefully programming for you on Thursday night.
Yeah, I love it. I do appreciate those guys trying to be committed to what has been something that maybe we've kind of had let's face it, kind of like a up and down situation with Chatterbox Bengals, just because of people coming in and out and shuffling here and there. This show's obviously had a little stability between myself and yourself, and obviously some of the folks that have kind of come in and helped us on the side. And this year, certainly even more so with the Phillips brothers and Hart and many other guys that help us with the pregame show. So biggest thing I want to say is continuing to thank you for supporting us, and hopefully you find the content on our channel enjoyable. And the good news is that we're back better than ever tomorrow, and the Reds are going to win. The Reds are going to find a way to beat Skeens tomorrow and get us right back into a spot where we feel like we have a chance to do this damn thing. That's how I feel. I know I'm weird. Sometimes you think I'm like always negative. This guy sucks. He just complains. Reds win 3-2 the other day, and I was trying to tell you that our offense sucks. Like we're not good enough right now. This offense isn't consistent enough to get us to where we need to get to. And then they go out and they get 4 hits today. 2 of them came in the 9th inning. They look like they were completely inept, like I told you maybe a couple days ago. But now what I'm trying to tell you is, as weird as this is, that we're all going to be fine. We're going to play tomorrow, and we got a chance to do something that no one saw coming, which was basically have Paul Skeens leading the game after maybe the 2nd inning. That's what the goal is. So appreciate everybody. Hit the like on the way out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Go Reds. We'll see you tomorrow.